Well, I put some more buckets out here to collect water while Milton comes and floods us. I'm assuming we're getting way more flood waters than Helene, because we didn't get any flooding during Helene. But we're going to collect some more rainwater with these 2 feed buckets. That's here. Assuming the wind doesn't knock these things down before it gets the weight of some water on. Now, I am sort of confused as to whether we hit Cat 5 yesterday. Like, I was reading some reports. We've kind of been watching the news for the last hour or so, and it's not a Cat 5, but they said it was weakening. So did it actually hit Cat 5? But they're saying again that it's going to strengthen, and then when, I guess, the cold front from the north or whatever hits it, it's going to weaken the storm, but it's going to like double the size. So it's going to disperse it into a wider storm, like double the size. We're now seeing like some footage of like I-75 and stuff that is just miles and miles of traffic. They say they opened up some of the shoulders, I guess, on the interstates, and at 1 a.m. it finally started to kind of get a little bit back to normalcy, but they expect it to pick up again, probably way worse today. I think one of our nearby counties already announced school closings for Wednesday and Thursday. I think our county was supposed to announce something last night, but I haven't seen anything yet on it. But I'm going to assume most likely Wednesday and Thursday it's closed, possibly Friday too if it gets bad. Everything is so chaotic, predictions on different websites or news services going all over the place. I don't know if we're going to get 20 mile per hour winds or 90 mile per hour winds here. 70, 80, 90, super bad. Even 40 and 50 is pretty bad, because the trees around here have just been whipped and beat up so much over the last 30 or 40 years that so many weakened trees could just fall, break. Even if it's not the full tree, it could be just half of a tree or a third of a tree. That big, heavy branch come down on a house or something, and it's not very safe. Wow. There's our first, it looks like possibly successful female flower on this squash, zucchini, pumpkin, whatever it is. We have been keeping an eye on this guy for a while, looking for female blooms, but the female blooms, when they form, the bloom buds, they like get black or brown and they just don't produce. But that one actually looks good. It's finally getting happy, I guess, with all the rain. Well, let's hope it doesn't blow away or break or lose all of its female buds and blooms in this storm. I'm not sure I've ever seen a sweet potato vine leaf that big before. Check this out. That's as big or bigger than my hand. The skies are extremely calm. It looks good out here, and this is the first morning I've got up at like 8 or 9 a.m. and went outside, and it actually feels really cool outside, even though we've hit several times in those upper 60s by like daylight. It's just so hot, muggy, and it is super wet out here. I'm sure the humidity's high, but it's at a certain temperature right now where it feels cool. Some people would be wearing a jacket here, not me, but if it was 10 degrees cooler, I probably would wear just a really light long sleeve shirt or maybe a windbreaker or something. We're getting to that time of year where you turn the AC up at night. You turn it either down at 3-4 in the morning before everybody else wakes up. But hopefully we don't have to turn the heater on. Not yet, but every year we do this. Natalie is always hot at night. I'm hot, turn the AC up more, turn it up more. I'm too hot. Then she might, if she wakes up before me at 2, 3 in the morning or whatever, I'm cold. Give me more blankets, turn the AC down. So I hope to get up before everybody else does, hopefully by like 3 or 4 a.m., just to turn that thermostat to, a different temperature before everybody wakes up, because the kids don't want to wake up when it's cold inside. And it seems like sometimes they wet the bed when it's cold inside. They don't want to get up to pee or anything like that, I think. Too much information, probably. So I just checked one of the reports from a local fire department. They said the expected wind speeds for around this area are going to be between 39 and 57 miles per hour. Previously, we was in that 40 mile per hour range. 57 is pretty bad, though. Tampa International Airport shut down not too long ago. I think the Tampa port has shut down, and they're looking for alternative ports as far as the ship ports. They say the land ports are still open for now to supply gasoline to the state. And they're even saying that Orlando could have a pretty big impact, from the storm. So I guess just a lot of people are evacuating, and a lot of people have already had their homes damaged or destroyed from the last 2 or 3 or 4 hurricanes over the last year and a half. And they don't even have a home to stay in. So a lot of those local people on those coastlines have already taken up all of the hotels in a lot of the areas. So the people coming from further south can't find hotels as easily. So they're probably going to go to Georgia or something to try to find something, maybe even up to Tennessee. And I'm seeing at least 2 separate gas stations are putting up signs saying we are out of regular gas. We only have premium, $5+ a gallon. And people are saying they're pushing the regular unleaded button when they pay for their gas, and it's coming out. So it seems to be at least 2 gas stations are lying. They're putting signs up saying you can only buy premium gas here. You always hear about price gouging of stuff, but gas stations, despite being probably one of the biggest offenders of price gouging and stuff like that during a major storm, seem to never get in trouble for it. You remember, like, what was it, Scotty's or whatever, the lumber hardware store, when Hurricane Andrew hit, they price gouged the heck out of lumber, and then they went out of business. They could not make it. They peed off so many people. We had people from 400, 500, 600 miles away going to South Florida to help rebuild. All of our contractors and construction workers and builders, handymen, were all going down south, and then nobody can afford the lumber because this place was selling lumber 2, 3, 4 times as much as it's supposed to cost. And just recently, nearby, I think, gas station owners, a couple, I don't know their ethnicity, but they were running like an Indian scam call center in their own convenience store, and they got arrested for it. A couple scamming people out of money. And I've watched quite a few YouTube videos about these people that go after these scam centers, mostly in India. Some might be in Pakistan or something. Some might be in Nigeria. But when they get caught and they talk, sometimes they say, I'm just trying to feed my family. We are poor. These people aren't getting that full money that they're scamming, Americans and British people and stuff out of money with. But, these people were in America running a convenience store, a gas station. They should have had plenty of money, and they're, pretending to be the IRS or FBI or Microsoft or whatever, and scamming people So I guess it doesn't surprise me that gas stations are still getting away with being the biggest offenders of like price gouging. Probably 2 or 3 hurricanes back, big storms back a few years ago, our local gas station put a sign saying no more gas. So after they closed their store, they were observed turning those gas pumps back on, filling all of their tanks, their family's tanks up, and then cutting the tanks back off. So, there's probably a lot of things that go on, and I think the same store got in trouble for food stamp fraud, selling beer and stuff like that on food stamps. I think they got in trouble for selling winning lottery tickets. I guess they were scanning all the tickets, the scratch-offs, and when they got caught doing the lottery thing, they got rid of that employee. Now, this is what I'm told, and I know I've seen him at a different store later. He's working at a different store. They sent him back to India. They legally changed his name in India. Then he came back to America under a different name and starting new at a different store. Hopefully he learned his lesson and he's not doing that stuff anymore. But this is some fishy stuff going on, More dryer land out here for the birdies. So yeah, we're going to be doing a massive load of clothes, making sure all the pans and pots and everything are clean. So, if we lose power long term, we don't have any stinking dishes or anything, and we'll have changes of clothes if we have to go somewhere. And if they don't cancel school for Friday and they have to go Friday or Monday, we'll have definitely some changes of clothes for them so that they can keep going to school. The morning glory is in full bloom still. We're going to try to get every bit of garbage out and hopefully to the landfill before it gets too bad as well. Hopefully we can achieve everything we want to do so that we're set, make sure we have all the lighters, candles, we have lamps and lanterns and stuff as well. Although that's still not easy to use and see from a little lamp or lantern or candlelight, but it's better than nothing, and we should have running water because our city water is on a generator. Definitely have to get these plants off the rails here too so that they don't just blow off, and sometimes when that has happened in the past, I don't even realize they're gone, and I'll find the pot or something months later, so they're better to be on the ground. So we're hear kids screaming somewhere, but that's not our kids, luckily, because I'm always being pulled and tugged in 15 different directions. I wonder if our papayas are gonna, go through another storm and look like they haven't been touched at all. I put my little extra pineapple, cold hardy pineapple, down here low to the ground and kind of leaned it into this bed. Not sure where I'm going to put it yet, but I can't wait until all this crazy weather is over so we can start working on those banana circles, more raised beds, and it's going to be a little bit different with the raised beds now because we have a little bit less nutrient stuff. We don't run out of soybean meal and a lot of things like that, but I also don't have the massive amount of hay that I had on raised bed 1 and raised bed 2. So we got to make up, for that with something else. But you can see, if you've been here since season 1 of our garden vlogs, that raised bed 1 has never seen this much green growth. And we did spend several months, I guess, getting it ready to plant out, and it was like the end of the season before we put that Lila avocado in. But we put several other things in. I think the pineapple, the loquat, a few other things. We even had, I think, sunchokes on the side of it, but they did not survive. Sweet potato slips and a variety of other things. Like pachaya there that is like getting tall again, but probably cold weather's going to knock it down, this winter. But hopefully every time it comes back, it's going to be more vigorous. And in this season, we definitely set out to see if we could plant out early, and success or failure, so far everything looks good, besides that Anna apple that got pulled up by the grapevines and the dewberries. The loquat really hasn't grown much, but it just started shooting out like the rootstock suckers there that we have to clip off soon. But certain things at this low nutrient level, when all the carbon is like sponging up a lot of the nutrients, it may be slow. It may be a year, 2, 3 years, who knows? But eventually they're going to start taking off. Pineapples look good, papayas look good, chaya looks good, sweet potatoes look good. I think the citrus trees that we planted out, even though one of them, that blood orange, did not look good for the longest time, and it could be just because we planted it out so early and it was stressed and then it went through the drought. But even it, is bouncing back and looking really good now. So I think I've proven that, in a lot of cases, maybe not all of them, you can do something like this. Now, you may need to supplement some compost and soil just around that root line so that they don't dry out. We must be getting some of the outer band winds here from that storm. And they said, it could affect our area tomorrow morning, versus like when it hits us full force at, 8, 10, 12 o'clock, midnight. Man, I'm already hearing sirens. I'm not sure why. It's possible if the winds keep getting up even tonight, we could lose power. So we finally got the tracking update on that plant that I've been wanting to, put on a video since yesterday. Monday it was supposed to come in. Today's Tuesday. It is in North Carolina with no, estimated delivery date. Is it going to be tomorrow, the next day? I'm assuming that even if the hurricane comes here based on past experiences, the Postal Service will be delivering at least until it gets too dangerous to deliver. But if it's, Thursday, Friday, I don't know what's going to happen with the plant. Well, 2 of the 3 kids are home now. You probably heard them hollering. So I think that's going to be it for today's garden and storm vlog. So we can look at the progress on this Deanna fig. It's still hard and green. Is it ever going to ripen? Let's not be all doom and gloom today. Let's plant this autumn olive in that original hugelkultur slash raised hybrid bed that we worked on, the original bed from 2015, where that other autumn olive blooms. See if this guy survives. See if they get pollination, because they're supposed to be self-fertile, but we've had bloom after bloom after bloom for, off and on for a long time and no berries. What happens when we have 2 flowering autumn olives, 2 genetically different cultivars side by side? Are we going to finally get pollination? Now, there are a lot of large logs and stuff in here, and I really don't know if I can dig in here very well. I guess I can try, because there's the autumn olive, an elderberry, fig, and a mulberry, and some taro and stuff like that. But I don't know, this could be softened up enough to plant in. But if not, we'll go over there where some of the sticks and stuff were smaller. It might be easier to dig in. All right, so we dug out there into a lot of that wood that's already kind of soil-like anyway. It looks like we got possibly some of the mulberry trees roots here. There's a big one and then 2 small seedlings here. Some other kind of roots maybe, or maybe that's all mulberries. Right, it's in there. We haven't watered it yet. We haven't tapped it down. So let's get a little bit of water and then make sure it's good and the dirt's pushed around the roots, and if we have to add some more soil around here, that's good. But you know, one good thing about this, and you can see all the fungal growth and stuff here, all kinds of fungal, you know, mushrooms and stuff pop up. There's one there. There's a completely different type there. You know, this is preceded since 2015. So 9 years it has formed its own mycorrhizal bed here. A bucket full of rainwater here. This is one way out away from all the other places we're collecting water. So this is 600-800 feet away from all those stink water buckets, besides the one that I've been throwing mostly oranges and stuff in. It's kind of within 100-200 feet of this guy. So let's go ahead. I'm kind of out of breath walking and digging, and so we poured probably a gallon or more of water on it. Let's kind of push it down here. Right, so there we go. Wish us luck. I'm not super impressed with the amount of shade here, but this oak we're going to cut down and maybe let it regrow for a chop and drop thing. And this invasive tree here, I think we're going to cut it down soon and possibly just put it down here to keep the mycorrhizal bed here going, and maybe allow it to come up a little bit higher. So you can't say we didn't put something in the ground and just did a talk video this time. We put something in the ground. It may seem like I'm poking fun at all these people that say don't take the berries because of the birds. Guess what? They're still here weeks and weeks after, you know, ripening, and some of them are starting to turn brown and, you know, fall off and stuff. So don't worry about it unless you see birds at your beauty berries and eating the crap out of them. Don't worry about it.